Alrighty, welcome to how to use CTG. So, we'll start off with going to the CTG 2.2 project. This can be found at link in the description, and then you want to hit see inside. This project is fully backpackable because everything is in this one sprite. Also, bonus. Yes, I have to scratch out and stuff, ignore it. It doesn't use, this variable isn't necessary. None of these are for all sprites. That's the great thing about this. So what you want to do is open your backpack and just drag and drop the sprite in. That'll take a while because I've already got that sprite in there. Then you just want to make a new project. So then you'll want to go to a new project, if you want a new project. And well, boot up this new project. You don't need any scratchy, sorry. Then you take the sprite, drop it in. And here. There we go. Alright, so you take this sprite, drop it in. I'm gonna get rid of it now to save myself some backpack space. Okay, so now we have CTG in the project. We can do literally whatever we want with it. So I'm gonna get rid of these fellas because we don't need them. Alright, now you have CTG. What the heck do you do with CTG? Well, that is where you go over to this lovely spreadsheet, which has this little tutorial, which I need to update. Should be updated by the time of recording this. We'll see. But as for now, you want to go to the key section. This is where you will see all the things you can use. So, for direct text editing, you're going to want to use txt, type, size, and font. So, we go over to my blocks, we drag out CTG recess settings. This is where your main script code will go. Okay. So, for instance, say I wanted the text generator to literally just say hi in the middle of the screen. Okay? I don't gotta do much to do it. Also, I recommend doing reset settings always true, unless, really needed otherwise, which is almost never. So, it's now generated with clones as seen by this monitor. Hi. And yes, I can confirm that this is indeed the center of the screen. We grab our XY grid, boom, dead center. Alright, that's cool and all. What else can you do with this thing? Well, we can change the type to be a stamp or a clone. This will modify if it is expending clones, because, clones are pretty dang important. So now we have hi without expending clones. Issue of this is you actually have to use erase all. Yeah. Alright, that's cool. Whatever. Who freaking cares? Now we get into the good stuff. Size. I can set it to 200%. Make it really big. Cool. I can make it 50%. Make it pretty small. Alright, that size, pretty self-explanatory. Next up, font. So by default, the CTG sprite will come with 3 built-in fonts. There is Smooth Pixel, and yes, when specifying fonts, capitalization counts. So that's your default. Yeah, nothing will change there. And then we have the Scratch font, which is just Scratch's sans serif. Yeah, it's weirdly spaced. I don't know why it spaces that much, but it does. And then there's Segmented, which is a really stinking weird font. You only use it if you're feeling adventurous. But you can make your own fonts pretty easily. I can explain that later. Also, this is for another game I'm making. So, here you can see the support for all fonts. The support levels for all fonts. Yeah. Also, this font is technically already made to be, but whatever. So, now we have HSP, now we have color and effects. This section is pretty dang self-explanatory. It's a rough HSBA value, though I should mention that for some reason the S is inverted. I kind of screwed that up. So like 100 will actually mean 0, just keep that in mind. So this will give you completely white text. Arguably one of my favorites, but not particularly helpful when showing stuff off like this. Also, this computer is not really suited for handling this much traffic, because I've never run OBS on this thing, so apologies for the lag. It's crashed. There we go. Okay. See ya. So yeah, this will generate us some completely white text. Pretty nice. Setting this to 0 will get you completely black text. Sorry, you have to set brightness to 0. That. You can't really see it, but it's there. So now, that's basically it for HSBA. Just know that your H is just, yeah. Sorry. So then we have all your effects. To apply an effect, it's really dang easy. Effects hyphen effects name. So like if I wanted to add on a, let's say, whirl effect, I can give it a whirl of 100. Now it looks distorted. So you can do any effect, and also for brightness and ghost, it will average it with what it uses for HSBA. Next up is formatting. It's most of these, and then there's also this. So bold, italics, underline, strike through. Those are really extensive if you're using clones, because bold, also these are booleans, they use true or false. Bold literally makes it bold. Like really bold. And then italics slants it. It doesn't actually like have a special font type, but it looks decent. Underline will add in, it'll add a line under it. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. It's still really stinking janky, so not the best, but whatever. And then strike through, which will add a line through it. Same formula as underline, by the way, that's why it looks the same. Then you can use angle and wrap. So angle is the direction the text will type, shock. For instance, angle of 90 is default. If I say angle 0, it'll type straight up. rotated to be like that. And then wrap. Wrap requires a relatively long string. So by default, wrap will be bound to the walls of the screen, I guess. So we'll say notice the lack of forced line breaks, and yet it puts line breaks. That's what wrap does. I know, it's really boring. And then we have the bound effect. Then we have gap. Actually, we have scales next. Scales just adjusts how effective these are. So like, if I go back to high, we can do scale bold be 10 instead of the default 1. And then bold, we have to actually turn on bold for scale bold to do anything because that's all it affects. And that just affects how much it moves everything out. Also, notice this does not affect. Okay, actually, it does. Sorry, it does affect the spacing a little bit. Just a little. It's kind of weird. Anyway. So then, italic is how much it angles by. Defaults to 10. Underline is distance from letter center to. From letter center to place the underline. Defaults to -32, and strike through is distance from letter center to place the strike through. Defaults to 0. And then we have gap, letter spacing. So this is how far each letter will be from the next. It's a relatively easy concept to grasp. Defaults to 2. If I set it to 20. If I set it to 20, they hate each other. And then we have bound -x plus x minus y plus y. That's just relative. That's just the way to keep text in. I'm not going through that. And then we have positioning, which is pos x, pos y, and alignment. So pos x will change the x position the text starts at. So like I can have an x position of -240, which instead of going from the center of the screen, it'll be over here. Pos y does the same thing along the y-axis. So I can add some, but note, text will align on the x-axis, and then it'll be in the middle on the y. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyway, pos y can be -160. And now I have another high right there. Beautiful. Then we have alignment. So I'll get rid of these. Alignment of center. It just centers the alignment based off the width of the text. I know. Big whoop. Then we have speed, which, well, doesn't really do that much, to be honest. Speed just changes how fast it'll generate text. It's the delay between each character. So if I add a few more eyes, I can give it a 1 second delay. I can give it a 1 second delay between typing each character. Yeah. It really doesn't do anything. And then we have ID, which defaults to 1. All ID actually does is just give you a way to identify the clones created after they're created in case you wanted to like make them a button or something. So like if I said ID 2, I could then say, for instance, when I start as a clone, forever, if touching mouse pointer. This is really laggy because normally it's not this laggy. Set brightness effect to 20. I'll set 0. So if I go set this, like, I only want this to happen. Also, this ID is stored in the variable CTG ID. I know, shock. So if your ID is 2, then I want you to do it. That's pretty negligible. We'll say 100. Yeah. So that's just a way to identify it after the fact. But like, if I make an identical set right below it, but I give them the ID of 1 instead, they look identical, but they're not going to react the same. That's all that's for. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. Then you have escape sequences, which just let you do some new things. \n is for a new line. \! Is to stop writing. I don't know why you'd ever need it, but it exists. \! Places \! Quotation mark. Places a quotation mark. \! Open brace. Places an open brace. \! Close brace. Places a close brace. It's pretty dang self-explanatory. Also, whenever you're going to make a new font, you actually do have to replace these with these special characters. Like if I go scroll through the costumes. Like, I can't find the double quotes because I don't have the character copied. See, you actually have to use this. Otherwise it'll, oh crap. Otherwise it'll give you nothing. Also, don't worry about telling it what the width and whatnot are. All you need to do is define a font height, and the text generator will take care of the rest. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. Reset all settings, literally just resets all settings beforehand or not. And well, that's pretty negligible. And then if you ever, like, the great thing about this text generator is it supports doing this numerous times over. So like if I wanted to say have an HSBA value of 0, 100, 100, 100, so pure white, and then I wanted to say 5 logs though, for instance, then that's not actually how you do it because you have to specify that that's the text value. Like, if I wanted this to be instead blue text, I can do that without any extra blocks. And it'll automatically format it too. That's the better part. Only downside is that segments will not instantly type independently of each other. So keep that in mind. They will not instantly type between each other. So just keep that in mind whenever you're trying to make something. But yeah, you can fill up the entire screen with text in one fell swoop if you really wanted to. But yeah, that really is all there is to it. Now, yeah. Thank you for watching. I'm out.